Hello everybody, welcome back to Larps and Tarps. Today we're going to be talking about the rest of Saturday at E3 at Empire LARP and rolling on to Sunday maybe. So,
I believe we got up to the archery range where you impaled my dear self and a lot of my innocent little jackdaws. They were just little dancing guys, and you shot at us.
Well, to be fair, he only impaled you. In fact, we mostly just shot at you.
I actually tried carefully not to hurt any of the jackdaws. It was just you I was gunning for.
I'm very sad I missed the public impaling. Heartbroken.
One of those cheeky little guys, not Twig. What's their name, Morgan?
Which one?
Akir.
Feathers.
Akir.
Ancestors Fury. I don't know the rest of your names.
Akir healed me at the archery range as well, so they have a sample of my blood.
Akir's healing is horrible. Akir healed me on the Sunday, and I think they gave me sepsis. It was horrendous.
How did they heal you, Tom?
They were just took examples of my blood, cut my finger a bit, made me drink my own blood. This is from being impaled on my pinky, but because of Empire rules, that means my entire arm is gone. Literally, the arrow hit the end of my pinky.
It means you can't hold your weapon anymore because your hand's fucked, I guess.
Yeah, but it's oh no, my arm, it's gone.
I quite enjoy Adam, who's been on the podcast before. So he's basically covered in chain, but he's got his crotch region. And he often shouts hey, if you get an impale off on my dick, I'll go down.
Is that a torso? There is no dick rules at Empire.
There is no...
Other than 3 to a tent.
Also, 3 to a tent and don't get your dick out.
There are nipple rules though, aren't there? No nipples.
Not anymore, apparently.
Has that been outlawed?
Apparently it's free the nipple.
Free the nip.
Nipple for everyone.
Nice.
Hashtag free the nip.
Don't go topless just in case I'm wrong, but someone told me it's free nipples
I
everywhere.
saw, at least dudes walking around topless when it was...
Yeah, but they could just be breaking the rules.
It's still one of
Yeah, that's true.
my favourite pictures of LARP is me and a load of Jotun doing a charge, and there's just one guy in an orc mask completely shirtless, so pink body but green
Yeah.
I was
face.
going to say, is he painted?
God, what? If they had painted, I would have been so impressed.
Yeah.
A full-on green. I know they've done encounters with topless orcs before, but they've just worn a green morph suit kind of thing.
Yeah, fair.
Stupid sexy orcs.
Stupid, sexy orcs. But yeah, so you've been to the archery range, had your hand wrecked and healed by Akir.
Hashtag get wrecked. But in between our time at the archery range, I got invited to an auction.
Were they? Sorry, I was gonna go. What auction?
It was the auction of the League street signs.
Oh fuck yeah, I remember this.
And this is some of the most fun, casual, light-hearted roleplay I ever have done. It's also some of the most expensive in fact, it is the most expensive roleplay we've ever done. Were any of you lot at the auction as well, or was it just me?
I wasn't. It sounds like one of those things that sounds boring, but obviously it's going to be incredibly interesting. If it was real life, that would be shit. But because it's LARP, you want to go to a street sign auction.
Yeah, no, it was absolutely fantastic because they were myself at the Jackdaws. There was a representative for the Seawolves, a representative of the Traveling Electcarry. The Crimson Reapers were there, and I've completely blanked on the name of the main guilds who were making the sign. The Bella del Trossa or something like that. I probably just butchered the name now, but it was a lot of fun. My accountant, my master of coin, Narciso, sat down and had the paddle. I was like, right, let's get bidding. So the first bid on the auction is that nice big bit of road. You know, the one that between Varushka and the League that has the Vassa on it? It kind of goes from the bottom of the Marchers camp all up the way to kind of starting to bar the archery range.
Yeah.
And it was a healthy bid. I think that starts off at 4 thrones. We started a little bit of bidding.
So what, do you then own it if you buy it?
If you buy it, you don't own the property,
You
but
name the
you
street.
name the street,
Ah.
and the street's name will appear on the League's map
Oh, nice.
until the game ends, I believe.
Okay.
So Narciso's like, we can't do this, Nietzsche. Stop bidding. So, of course, he has the sign. To which the other guilds are like, go on, give Nietzsche a little stick. Let him bid. So I got to do a little bit of bidding myself. Just come on, we'll outbid. Up the bidding. Make the Reapers and Seawolves go higher. At the start, though, everyone was looking at the maps because there was a map of what lots you could get. And I lock eyes with Callum's character. No, not John Luca. He plays Benno in the Crimson Reapers, I believe. He plays Mr. Taffy
feel
in
like
Flying
half-
Lead Nightmare.
Oh.
I feel like half the people who go to LARP are either called Callum or James. I know about
what's that
5
about?
Jameses.
Yeah, I think you're right. What's that about?
And it was basically looked at me as like, Nietzsche, I want your plot number 9. That's mine. He was like, I'm going to call it Benno's Back Alley. It's like,
Yeah, 'cause that's right
no.
where the Jackdaw camp is.
we can't have that. We may not have much, but we've got some semblance of pride.
Benno's back alley.
So when it got to that plot, bear in mind the League High Street went for, I reckon, 9 thrones. That is probably the big main street in the centre of the league went for 9 thrones. Really good spot. The Egregore sometimes have to say the name of the street. Can get some good name out of that, right? I believe it was either the Crimson Reapers or the Seawolves who obviously got it. But the bidding war starts. Do you want to know how much the reserve fee, the coming in fee for the Jackdaws plot was?
Go on.
Bear in mind, this is 3 foot of land. 1 ring.
Wow.
Do you know what the opening bid on this was?
Go on.
4 thrones from Benno.
Fuck's sake.
Oh, fucking hell.
And we're like, we can't
This is
have
the
this.
kind of political antagonism that we want.
Yeah, we can't have this. We've got to bid for our land, so we start bidding. The sea will start bidding. Narcisso's sweating. He's like, Nietzsche, we cannot afford this. It's like, no, we need this. There are names on the land.
Oh, fucking
We
hell.
get up higher, higher, higher. And then they eventually gets to a point where the person doing the auction, what's the name of the called? The auctioneer is like, come on, we're going to have to rush you. We're all like gathered around. Can we afford this? Can we afford this? And then someone from the Travel and a Collector carry is like, here's a few crowns. We up the bid. Benno ups the bid.
Oh, fucking hell.
And then the Prince of the Seawall's like, here's a throne. Fair enough, we'll up the bid, Benno ups it one more time.
My God.
Bear in mind, it's on like 9 thrones 2. We win it out at 9 thrones 4.
Hey.
Hell. Dude.
We're a poor guild. That pretty much destroyed our coffers. But the fact is, I love this comical
I can't
battle.
believe you dropped 9 thrones on the street there.
9
That's-
thrones, 4 crowns.
Oh my goodness.
But
9.5 thrones.
It's, you've seen our camp. Would you say it's about 4 foot by 4 foot of free space?
Probably, yeah.
That is the most expensive real estate in the league.
Oh, I love it. Are you going to make a sign?
We get the signs made
shit,
in
so
the
they're
bidding.
ma-
There's
oh,
actually a
awesome.
fizz rep made. I'll show you
Amazing.
after
Oh, that's
the
cool.
chat. Actually, I might post them in the group on the Facebook page.
Yeah, they do look really cool.
Really. So yeah, 9 thrones, 4 crowns. It was a metaphorical alliance of the guilds standing up to the Crimson Reapers and their tyranny, or at least Benno.
The damn creepers.
It was a lot of fun. However, at this point, we realized, shit, we're bankrupt. So we got the street name, but
Not
for the
cred.
Jackdaw Party, we decided to auction off the tagline underneath so we can make some of the money back. And we'll get to that later. But I also did buy my own personal little street.
Hang on. So you bought 2 streets?
I bought one with the Jackdaws coffers, which was the Jackdaws spot, which is called Jackdaws Rest, which I think's a nice little name. And I also have the most unused street in the league as well, the second smallest street, called Nietzsche's Nook. I believe it goes past the Haldagans camp and kind of towards the Pathfinders camp. So it's never really used that much.
So so what you're saying is that the Jackdaws now owns land in Anvil.
We don't own the land, but we own the street. But I like to think we
Well,
own the
you
land.
own the name.
funny.
You own the rights to naming that.
That's so
plot of
good.
land.
Does that now make him Lord Nietzsche?
No, he doesn't own the land.
No, I'm thinking of maybe making a street owners club, though. Perhaps it's nothing personal. You must go away. It's just
Nietzsche
that we're
wanted to
better
be
than you.
I love becoming a part of the elite, forming your own little secret group.
Just to
Lychee.
mask my financially bad decisions.
Incredible.
But OC, it has fulfilled one of my personal goals. Even if Nietzsche goes now, he has a permanent mark on the league.
Yeah.
He has his street sign, and he's also got the jackdaws permanently on the league as well. So we're solid in the law. Even if I die and the jackdaw dissolves, we are part of league history now.
Fuck yeah.
Which I think I'm super happy with.
Now,
Thrones-
Nietzsche can now die.
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
let's hope not for a long time. But thrones and rings and crowns you can get any time and start to build up. There's only like one opportunity to get those streets.
Yeah.
So I think it's an investment well made.
Yeah, awesome.
What about you guys? What are you up to?
So, it was again another one of the, like event where I had less skirmishes than usual, but there was one that I was getting called to go on because they were worried they wouldn't have numbers. Basically, they walked two of my the most handsome man in the empire, Jean, came along with two other of my friends, and they were like, "Do you want to come on a death trap skirmish?" And I was like, "Sounds good." So very quickly got all my armor on, and I was informed that there were some heralds of an eternal known as the Cold Sun. So I think a lot of this is still a bit find out in play-ish, but the Cold Sun is basically a new day eternal. I think I did refer to it at one point as the racist day orb. It's now been called the Cold Sun, and it has been sending its heralds across the empire. And it had sent some of them into Astolat, which is one of Dawn's territories, specifically to go attack one of our great works called the Harps of Astolat, which create mana. And they were going to destroy this site, so we were being sent to protect these, and we had to kill the heralds. So I got all clanked up, went to go speak to the individual who was in charge of it. And we all basically made our way up to the gate. So this is like a big national move, right? We're like, we need to protect our territory. But I think you guys, specifically, Dreadshields, had been asked to help, I think.
Yeah, I'm not fully sure on the details. Surprise, surprise. But
You were doing so well for the battle.
I know. This was the skirmish. This is different. I attended one meeting and knew some things, but this... I spent the afternoon drinking, so
Don't worry,
I was half
Chloe.
cut at this
I'll
point.
turn you into a meeting convert.
Absolutely not. No, thank you. Yeah, I knew that someone was worried that they wouldn't have numbers, so we had been asked to support. We'd been asked to just kind of make numbers up. So we got ready and went to the gate. Like, we're not sure who or why or what. We just knew that we were asked to turn up and go hit things.
Yeah. So it was going to be... Basically, I've been told it was going to be a rough one. Mm-hmm. We all kind of got to the gate and started to get ready to go through. You guys got bounced, right?
Yeah, we got bounced like 3-4 lines after you.
Yeah. It was not a huge skirmish.
No.
I think it was basically the person who was leading it was like, hey, I want to be over prepared for this because you don't want to be a situation where you've not got enough people. But it sounds like we had there was a lot of people that were yet to go through.
Mm-hmm. Well, there were all of us.
Yeah. How many of you were there, Dreadshields?
I'd probably say about 8 of us had kind of gone. Plus, there was a few people from Dawn in front of us that got bounced too.
Yeah.
I think there were a lot of them were your healers as well.
Yeah. It was a funny one, actually. It was interesting because it was... because we spoke about this, because the way the skirmish went, the healers wouldn't have made a difference, which was interesting. So I'll explain how it went down, basically. So I'm going through, I'm with 3... Jean told me about it, but Jean didn't come on the skirmish. They were going up to deal with something else later. But I went on the skirmish with 3 of Tristan's closest friends, known them since he first got to Anvil. And we start marching our way through, and we see them slowly kind of marching towards us. And they've got kind of blue-white faces. They're all heavily armored. They've all got big pole arms, which is not what you want to see. Terrifying. And then there's one with this full head, full blue scaled head. There's some amazing pictures from this skirmish, but full blue scaled head. Almost not Mero, but almost somewhat kind of fish adjacent, if you like, which is Day Realm kind of shit. The minute we hit them, they hit really fucking hard. So they are calling in pails. They're calling it felt like nonstop. There was so much power behind them. They were shattering weapons, just one after the other, really quick, and I'm full of icy opinion from this particular fight. A little bit of OC opinion, but it's not. It's there was a lot of people panicking and running away in situations where we could have held, right? Which meant like, so it's all well and good when you're kind of trying to hold a line and then there's no one either side of you. And then you're like, well, we're fucked now. There was a lot of people just breaking, cutting and running like as quick as they could.
I feel like people need to remember, rather than flee, step back. Step back.
Step
in line.
and hold. But people were sprinting. Some very active game happened, which I think contributed, but I won't talk too much about that. But the big thing that happened to me was my good friend Hector was bleeding out behind the lines. Hector. Again, my first event friend I made there had fallen behind the lines and was bleeding out. And everyone's kind of scattered. We've all kind of run around. The person like leading it, I think, had gone down at this point. Other stuff's going on. There's like 4 of us on one side wanting to charge, a good chunk from another house wanting to charge, but like most of the people not fucking getting it together, basically, like being scattered, and we're seeing people go down. And I watch as this blue-headed figure stands above. Oh shit! Do you know what? I'm even forgetting even more people. People from my house had gone on this skirmish as well. So it was not only like 3 of Tristan's best friends, also Viridian was there. Also a Yo folk from the house was there. It was, oh my God, horrendous. Because also, Yofo from the house had gone down behind the lines, but I hadn't even seen her. It wasn't until we got back that I found out that A, she'd got on the skirmish, and B, that she died. But she'd gone down behind the lines, and we see this blue-headed figure over my friend's body, like chanting something. And then Hector's just on the floor screaming and writhing. And I'm like, no, fuck, no. But there's a line of heavily armed, pole-armed heralds in front. Eventually, thanks to some actions of a particular house and me and my friends, we end up corralling everyone and forcing forward. Push the line as far forward as we can. We get them past, and we eventually kill every single herald. But we get to every person that gone down behind the lines, and they had been burned from the inside out.
Shit.
Ooh.
They had been purified by the cold sun.
Does that include Hector?
Hector.
Oh.
So this was the beginning of a lot of emotional RP for me this weekend. Mm-hmm. And I remember after they'd all just been dealt with, just kind of like screaming and then spending a good amount of time head on my dead friend's chest. And someone else's it was the most like, because the thing was we'd done it. The heralds were gone. We still had time. There's a ritual that had to be done. And we were just there with our dead friend. And it was fucked. The ritual happens. We take people off the field. I'm carrying Hector back, and we start to walk back, screaming at people to get out of the way, make way for the glorious dead. And then the guy that plays him obviously is on my shoulder, and he goes, "Oh my God, look over there!" And I look up, and it's his IC girlfriend, and I'm like, "Is that her?" And he was like, "Yeah." I was like, screamed her name like across the field, and she kind of turns around. She was like quite happily walking along. She was like 10 paces ahead, turns around, and then you just see her face drop.
Oh my God.
Sprints over like, Hector, and I'm like, he's dead. He's dead. And again,
Got goosebumps.
The idea was like, I don't know if he described this, but because he'd been burned from the inside out, I was picturing like his eyes have obviously burned out. Like you can see like burn marks, and he's like absolutely fucked. And she's just there. We carry him back to Dawn. Now, the other person that died on this was the person who'd been leading the skirmish. And there was a few other people as well. But they'd been taken to the Glory Square, and there was like a lot of people gathered around them. But we took Hector to their camp, so it was a much smaller kind of affair, and we were there. And Viridian knows this ritual where you can bring someone back temporarily. Like you breathe a little bit of life into them, and they can kind of have their last words, as it were. Cast this ritual, and then the guy who's doing it, absolutely phenomenal. Great job of making me cry. Thank you very much if you're listening. But just kind of wakes up and starts screaming because obviously he died in fucking agony. Then we have some like really beautiful last words. We said we were going to dance this evening, so I was like, you never gave me that dance, you silly prick. And it was like a really nice time. The Earl of his house was there. Anyway, we have this beautiful kind of funeral for it. Someone gives him a testimony. Which your soul tattoo, And then we kind of at this thing, and then eventually he's like released. He dies. And his Earl, and she'd been like really gentle. She's like, don't worry, it's okay. We'll be all right. Then when he dies, she let out the most like blood-curdling scream, like head on his chest. And I was like, I can't take this. This is too fucking much. It was some of the most amazing emotional RP I've done. Had some other stuff with like one of my friends was blaming another one of my friends for the fact he died. So I then grabbed the guy who was blaming the other person and just screamed in his face for like a solid minute. Because it was like, no, saying shit like, you're disrespecting his memory.
Yeah.
How dare you? Do you think he'd want that? What the fuck is wrong with you? It was like, again, really intense. Checked in with him, like, you're like, hey, you good? He's like, yeah, I'm fine. Cool. Like, always check in with the people you're being very antagonistic at, but it was like a real kind of fever pitch of like, again, I've described this with Tristan before, is that if I'm behind the controls and like the dialogue box comes up, and if it's like anything that's not happy, it's angry. So the minute sadness creeps in, it just switches to fucking fury. It was excellent. It was awful. It was so sad, but it was excellent.
We had a jackdaw leading the first skirmish as well. Their only order was, you take them out. We want you to come back alive. Fuck the other 24 if it comes to it. They got the order.
Fucking league.
They got the order back to front, dear Clem. They got all of the other 24 out, but they got drunk alive.
Oh, that was the that's very active game, by the way. I don't know if you know what happened to them.
I don't. I know. I heard drunk. And that's about it.
So I'll tell you. I might tell you about this later, but there's some spicy stuff that came from those skirmishes. But yeah, no.
I hear it was fucked.
I was talking to someone later the evening. PD did an excellent job with the evening skirmishes because everything had been going all right for most of it. The battle had gone pretty well. Some of the skirmishes had gone well. And then it was like every hour they were just turning up the fucking dial and just skirmish after skirmish. There was death after death after death. I'm like mourning my good friend that's died. I had some beautiful RP with Lucy, my troubadour, he was kind of sat out my tent whilst I was like having a little fucking sulk in my tent. Had some nice RP there. Came out, tears in my eyes. Friend of mine comes up, puts his hand on my shoulder, is like, I'm assuming you've heard about Rivadi then.
Oh, no.
And I just look up at him and we go, what? And he goes, oh shit, I'm sorry. I'm just like, no!
There is one cloud, silver lining to that cloud. I got paid my crown.
Before they died. But it was just another fucking, like, it was just everyone I kept speaking to, like, death. And then, like, it was fucked, but it was some of the best RP I've had in ages. We then met up, me and Neve. Had a little meet up later because you came to Dawn, didn't you?
Yeah. I had heard, so, little backtrack. So, obviously, we'd been bounced from the skirmish. So, we were kind of just stood there like, oh, what do we do? I say we. I didn't because I don't possess the ability to, but 5 of the Dread Shields decided to all repel Murdoch at the same time from different directions.
I feel like Murdoch's just your punching bag.
Has Murdoch been wearing the head of a herald?
Yeah.
That's fucking awesome.
Some of the photos have been phenomenal.
He looks fucking incredible.
Yeah, there's
it's
some
great.
from the battle where Murdoch's pushing Neve through the gate because obviously she's all hyped up on Bite and wants to go and kill everything 'cause she's angry, and like he's physically dragging her out and they look insane. But
Where does Neve begin and Chloe end? That is the question.
Oh, I don't even know anymore.
Chloe's going to start fizz wrapping Bite with just actual cocaine when she goes to the event.
Well, funny you should
Rip
say
the labby,
that.
snort a line, let's go.
But instead of ripping the card, he ripped the baggie.
Disclaimer: we do not endorse drug use.
does not endorse cocaine use.
Don't do drugs, kids. Yeah, so that was a weird sort of time. And although Paul Murdoch did forget that they were wearing a kilt, so as they were rolling around on the floor, yeah,
Oh dear.
You all got an eyeful.
yeah, that was the highlight of my evening.
Larps and Tops does encourage underwear kids.
Oh no, they were wearing underwear, don't worry.
Oh, good.
I actually they were.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I thought they were going for the breeze in between the
But,
knees.
but things were sore.
Oh no!
Scene.
Things were seen.
Things were seen.
Is this the labyrinth?
Goodness.
Yeah, so then kind of headed back to camp, had dinner, carried on drinking because I'd sobered up at that point because forced myself to sober up before skirmish, didn't need to, so caught up.
I still think it's one of the most aggravating things at Empire, and it can't be helped, but just spending all that time getting into your armor, marching up to the gate, getting bounced, then having to march back and get out of your armor and back into your normal kit.
You feel like so embarrassed, you're like, oh, I didn't get no skirmish.
I wasn't quick enough. They didn't want me.
But
Always get picked last for teams.
so yeah, so we had another smut reading. We had part 2 of the smut poems that were left anonymously. I heard that a lot of Dornish folk had died on this skirmish, and obviously, I mean, Neve's a cold-hearted bitch, to be honest, but, you know, she does somewhat care about some people, so as soon as she hears that Dornish folk died, you know, she thinks, oh shit, she knows someone in Dorne, and so she kind of ran to Dorne thinking, oh my god, it better not be Tristan. Bumped into Tristan in one of the main roads in Dorne. I was like, oh, thank god you're not dead. And yeah, they had it wasn't a pretty intense conversation.
It was very much a very angry changeling being angry, and Neve being like, why? Like, it was almost felt like I kept having to say, I'm not angry with you or the Dread Shields, but it was just like a very heated back and forth of Tristan being like, it's not what I'm fucking saying. Listen to what I'm fucking saying.
Yeah.
And what he's saying is full of anger.
It's because we were talking about the skirmish, and like Neve was saying, so how'd it go? Like, I heard this, blah blah blah. And I remember Tristan was saying, oh, it's because no one knows how to hold a line, no one knows how to fight. There just weren't enough people that could fight.
I was talking about, like, it was like there should have been more Dornish, like, holding and fighting and charging, but it was a lot of fighting.
Oh, but Tristan didn't say Dornish. She said there should have been more people that knew how to fight and hold a line and that could actually fight. And then that's when Neve was saying, oh, well, that's why the Dreadshields were invited to go, because we were going to go to help fight and support. And then Tristan obviously got very emotional and angry and was saying, but no, that's not why you were there. You weren't needed. It's not you guys.
Yeah.
It's just people in Dawn need to know how to fight. Like,
it was
not
very much a case
scared.
of, like, I'm not saying that you couldn't do it. I'm saying we shouldn't have needed you to do it.
Yeah.
If anything, what he should have said is, yes, it would have been excellent if you were, but you were not, which is such a shame. Instead, it was like, that's not what I'm fucking saying, you fucking idiot.
Yeah. And then just, I remember saying to you, because for a second I thought, oh, I know this isn't OC, but he's very upset. So I was like, okay. I was like, right, let's bring Neve back a bit. Let's bring Chloe forward a bit. So I remember I said to you, I was like, look, Tristan, I know that you're hurting, and I know it's very difficult. Like, but you know, is there anything I can do? Is there any way we can help? And yeah, I was just like, I think that's like the first proper like RP sort of moments Neve and Tristan have had.
100%.
And it was cool.
Yeah, it was good. It was good to do. It was also funny because we were doing. I was assigning people lineages the other day that are lineagely challenged, as I've been referring to you all. And you would be a changeling, like you are, like very changeling.
Thing is I would be like the way that. Yeah, it's a shame Neve's not, but I'm worried that if she's like this, what would she be if she was a changeling? Can you imagine?
Just spontaneously combust.
Could you imagine if it mellowed her out?
It wouldn't.
No.
Don't do summer, kids.
So I think around the time you guys finished your skirmish, I quickly had to go and see one of my jackdaws in the orc fighting pits, Lucio, which was a hell of a sight. For those who don't know, you can get a fight in an orc pit, and it's pre-choreographed, so you kind of work out who wins, who loses.
It is one of the things I've wanted to
cool.
try. Is I want to see Neve in the fight.
I didn't know it was pre-choreographed.
Yeah, well, it kind of has to be for safety. But just seeing him, I missed quite a bit of it because I unfortunately went off to get lunch, and then oh shit, I need to be somewhere. I ran to the orcs camp, seeing all these orcs gathered around chanting at their prize fighter. They're lifting him up, kind of doing wrestling moves, dumping him down, seeing him take a blow. It was such a good sight.
That's amazing.
I've seen the fight. I saw the fighting pit for the first time when we were walking on the Sunday, walking through, because I've always wondered where it is. And fucking awesome.
He's become
Yeah.
a friend of the orcs now, our Lucio. So that's a big,
Friend of the orcs.
yeah, big claim.
When I saw it, like if someone said to you, imagine an orc fighting pit, and then I saw it, and I was like, that's pretty much exactly what I would imagine for an orc fighting pit. It's awesome.
Can you imagine Neven fighting pit?
You should go for it.
I might. I actually might.
You'd go against all the choreography, and you just go for the jugular.
I would like sideswipe their legs from under their feet. Whoosh.
I've said this before that there's an amazing picture of General Orm actually on the wiki in the fighting pit. It's on the safety brief page on the wiki of Orm with their knee in some poor orc's balls, and it is the most incredible picture. It is
For
so
safety
good.
as well.
Yeah, it's like safety breathing with Orm with their knees deep in the balls. So
Can you
it's so
pull
good.
it up? I want to see it.
And so I'll show you after we've recorded.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Have
it's so good.
You guys got anything else before my big ego stroking event?
There was a wonderful glory gala in the Glory Square. We all had like some music being played and performances and singing. Tristan really needed a rest, so it was like nice to relax. I did some wonderful dancing with my troubadour.
Did you pull?
No, we did some wonderful dancing. It started at ballroom dancing and ended with just doing like Ring of Roses, like running around the Glory Square very quickly and chaotically with the Bardstons playing music in the background. Excellent vibes. Then we stopped and had a little chat, drank loads of mead, had a great old time. Because
Big
this was a
gamble.
prelude to a massive thing that happened later. So I was very quickly through the ball, absolutely amazing, and I loved it. But yeah, go on, stroke your own fucking ego in the corner.
The biggest ego stroke of the year for me was the Jackdaw's birthday party. Our Carter is a year old.
Your own party, which you were late to.
My own party, which I was fashionably late to. I couldn't be the first one there. That'd be embarrassing, right?
No, it would be. I hope they had like trumpets when you arrived.
No, but it's like the guest of honor is here. Here is Uncle Nietzsche. All this was
Carrying a portrait of himself.
carrying a portrait of my. Well, Salt was carrying the portrait of myself, which was great.
Too good to even carry your own portrait.
Oh yeah, it was a complete ego trip. Grace, my friend Lana, who's in the Jackdaws, did all the organising, and I think it's safe to say, everyone, she did a phenomenal job.
She did.
It was a fantastic party.
Like, going into the party, I thought there'd be maybe 30 people, 40, because, like, you invite people and people at Empire are too busy to go. How many people would you say there was at the height of the party? 100, 120?
It was packed.
Yeah, which was
Yeah.
great because like I'd agreed to play a song that I'd written on guitar, and then I saw how many people there, and I was like, "Fucking shit!" I was nervous to play in front of 30 people. What is this? But yeah, that was fine. Still.
Yeah, the Crimson Reapers had been so nice and let us use their camp. So thank God with those numbers, it was so big. But yeah, it was amazing. I got to do I think the biggest thing I've ever done at Empire was the thank you speech in front of the 150 people, just stroking my own ego of how I come from a small cobbling merchant prince, small cobbler, into becoming one of the biggest merchant princes of the league. Not the richest, but possibly the second biggest merc company there is. All this being shouted out with Salt standing next to me holding my portrait in the air, and I'm standing on a tiny little stool just to give me that tiny bit more height. It was awesome. I think some Dornish or Highgarders was heckling me as well, just to add to it.
It was insane.
Yeah. And the fact I was very impressed I managed to do that whole speech completely off the cuff and winged it. And then at the end, it's like, and it's also the Wheelbarrow's birthday. Do you want to say some words, Murdoch? It's like, thank you for coming. I think it was a bit like a hair in a headlight.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
But no, I had a fucking fantastic time. We had a gambling table. Grace had organised singing, a Muppet show, a play about Nietzsche founding the Jackdaws called... And I think I've now got the epithet of Uncle fucking Nietzsche, apparently.
I've always called you Uncle fucking Nietzsche.
Yeah, but apparently I was just slaying everything. I haven't seen this play yet, but I've heard it's a hit.
It was brilliant.
Talis Ashbourne's commissioned my playwrights because of it for next year, so that's going to be
He's
interesting.
commissioned to play your playwright, but that's not who wrote that play.
Yeah. Oh, fair enough. Well, I got to do some hobnobbing, feeling rather important.
I was like, I came along, it was after the Glory Gala, I was like, right, I'll go see Nietzsche. Before this, I'd been having some wonderful interpersonal RP. It was a good time. I was like, right, I'll go see Heat Cheaters Party. I go, hi Tristan, back to the fire show. I was like, cool. Chatting with Murdoch at the wheelbarrow. Saw some outrageous pornography.
I
of my
know
friends.
that really took me out of it. I was like, I don't know how to feel
Just
anymore.
the outrageous pornography of two of my close friends. I won't say who it was, but mine. Good. Sorry, 3 friends. There was 3 people in that photo. I knew.
When you lock eyes with the special eye, you're like,
Yeah.
how close is our relationship
I was
now?
like, wow, thanks for this picture of you.
I didn't know
jerking
you'd
off.
seen that.
Yeah, I had. I broke. I literally broke.
Yeah, Murdoch says your reaction was amazing.
Oh, I wish I'd seen that.
It was so funny. It was just very funny me coming to this. Oh, I'll go to the little Jackdaws party and be like, oh my fucking god, like what the shit? And then I'm like, oh hi Murdoch. Oh, pulling my friends. What is? I'm too overwhelmed. It's too much. I have to leave.
Yeah, Talus, Ian from Lops Noob says he felt like a kid in a candy store. I was like, I'm too overwhelmed. There's so much to do. This is Talus's paradise.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
But I think the crowning achievement was our bard Greenway doing the fire dancing. That hooked everyone. Everyone was so impressed. I was blown away because I hadn't seen it.
I wasn't
It
there
was
at
the
that
fire
point.
breathing that was like really peak.
We missed it, which was
No,
really.
you were there.
No, I missed it because Rocky wanted to be introduced to the Kickabeos because he wants to use them for his casino. Chloe just did it. Kickabeos.
That's the reason.
What is criminal, and I'm calling you out, people of Empire, that fire show in Prosperity, people passing around the hat, only made 10 rings.
10 rings.
Criminal.
Is that it?
You're all unvirtuous. Feel
I
ashamed.
was working and I did 2 performances and got no pay.
Yeah, but it's like
That's
all the equipment he had
horrendous.
to bring, like the time going to God and working out the paperwork.
Did you put any money in?
We did pay him. The Jackdaws paid him for his
That's
time.
cool.
But yeah, unfortunately I was ordered not to go on any missions tonight or like jobs. Missed a bloody opportunity to go to an encounter tent. It was perfect for me. Apparently, it was pirates in Sarvos.
Oh my god.
Dockyards. Like,
that is Tom's encounter tent.
Just-
They designed that for you.
just single tear rolling down. It was my birthday, and I can cry if I want to. But other than that, that pretty sums up my night. That is the crowning moment of the Jackdaws. I feel like we've actually made it as a guild to have 150 people there for us.
Yeah.
And we're still the joke guild of the league.
Oh, it's so fun.
Do you know some people say, look at this party, he must be fucking rich. Jokes on them.
Not after spending all the you did on that bloody alleyway.
Draining your coffers on the day.
Oh yes, the auction for the alleyway. We did that at the party.
Oh, at the party.
So
You spoke about the auction, yeah.
Sikaro ended up buying the subtitle for an additional
Oh, I see.
5
yeah.
thrones 2.
Fucking hell.
Ooh.
So the name of the lane is Jackdaw's Rest, paid for by the Crimson Reapers. That 4 foot by 4 foot worth of camp at the bottom that turns brown when the vat is up is worth 14 thrones, 6 crowns.
Jesus.
That's daft.
The most expensive piece of property in Anvil, I believe.
Oh my
Probably.
goodness.
So how was the party for you, Kerry?
Yeah, it was really good. I was really absolutely terrified of playing the guitar. Like at first I was like setting myself up at the bar where I was representing the Boar's Head and I was like, it's fine. Performance stage is away. Don't worry about it. Then all of a sudden here, Kerry, it's your turn, you need to come and perform. So I get to the front and I'm like, shit. And then I'm like, well, where's the guitar? Because I've been setting up the bar. And then like, someone goes, oh, you go find the guitar. We'll do the play first. And I'm sat there having to watch this play, which was a very good play, but I couldn't enjoy it because I was sat there going, shit, holding this guitar that I had found moments later. I was like, couldn't I have just done my song? It's 1 minute long. But, you know, it was a very good play. It was a lot of fun. I wish I could have enjoyed it properly, but no, I was absolutely shitting myself. I was like literally there muttering the lyrics to the song. To myself, I must have looked like a right weirdo. I'm just there holding the guitar at the top. I was like, for the song that I'd written for the Jackdaws, which did go down quite well. And it also had a similar sort of joke about Nietzsche going to too many meetings, as did the play that was just before it. So I was like, there you go. Everyone knows that this is all a vibe. And then the Smuppet show was a lot more fun. And I don't think you two got to see the puppet show. I know you, Morgan, know what the content is. So I sent you the recording of when me and Lana were writing it. We had like a little IC meeting where she came round out of like in downtime, and we got dressed up and we got drunk on wine and we wrote a Smuppet show about the jackdaws, which was roughly based around the prose of the story The Bear Hunt.
we
If
explained
you've
what-
ever read that beautiful childhood tale. So you know that the jackdaws go on sausage quests. So we wrote, we goeth on a sausage quest. We aspire to discover an exceedingly large one. We art
so
not
sad.
afeard. A gasp, a gape, a long thick snake. And it sort of went on like that.
Oh my god, I can't believe we missed that. That sounds
I've got a recording of it. I will play it for you later. Also,
please
I think
do.
we're going to perform it again.
Yes. Oh
some
my
other
God,
time.
please.
I need
It was
to-
so much fun.
I need to actually watch some of the plays you guys have made. I was too busy hobnobbing. I'm so jelly.
Yeah, we had finger puppets, which we'd commissioned, a finger puppet of Nietzsche, Lucrezia, and a couple of the other dramaturgists, Cass and Hugo, because there was like lines like, at one point they found a clam and the clam, couldn't get any relief, or if only Lucrezia had taught her, because that's obviously the Kikabeo. And then like we just like lift up Lucrezia's finger puppet like, hello. In the end, Grace had made some lovely little felt like props and things like little bit of grass and a snake that she brought in. It was very cute, very funny, and it was hilarious because we had a little clothes rail we were all sat behind. There was 4 of us performing this puppet show with finger puppets all squished in together with Ricardo as well. Obi, one of our listeners, was the tour guide for this sausage quest, so he's at the front showing us where to go. But yeah, no, it was a lot of fun to perform, and I think it went down quite well as well.
That's so good. I'm so glad.
And then the end line is, and this is the tale of how the jackdaws were beaten by a gigantic sausage too big to be eaten.
Wow.
And when we stood up and took a bow.
Oh,
Brilliant.
That's
incredible.
fantastic. I hope that if you perform it again, I get to see it.
Well, I think we want to perform that one again at the Jackdaw camp, and I want to sing my Jackdaw song again as well.
Yeah.
When I'm less terrified of all the people around. But also we're being commissioned for another puppet show, which me and Grace need to have another IC night to get drunk and write. Yeah.
There was a conjunction, basically. A conjunction where the entirety of Dawn was going to be allowed to go to the Barrens to consecrate a shrine there as a kind of like to show that we've got our home back, well, whatever, we've claimed the Barrens, it's now Dawn's, and we're going to do a big consecration of the shrine. So, like, the hundreds of people in Dawn, we all have these big lit torches. People are carrying coffins full of people, with people who've died in the Barrens, to bring with them to the Barrens, and we all go through, and it's like a beautiful setup. They've got like a glade with like green lights, and there's like spirits wandering around, and basically there are spirits in the field that have been stirred by the fact the Barrens has been won, and we have been invited to lay them to rest. And this was an opportunity for people whose characters had died to come back as ghosts. So you dressed up as your character and you went to the Barrens as a ghost.
That's
And
cool.
then we could meet them and lay them to rest. And I saw like a couple of people that I'd known. There was one that was really sad. I missed a good friend of mine who died at E2 last year, and I saw her just as her soul passed on. And I was like, no, I want to say hi. It was one of those things where I was like, I wish I'd shouted out. Yeah, so it was a very cool moment. And then someone starts shouting, Dulac, and we're like, what? And we went over. It's like, one of your old earls is here,
Oh wow.
and we just like looked at each other. I was like with Lady Lordine,
Drink.
and we looked at each other and went, what? And like ran over, and there was like someone dressed as a noble who was like, yeah, I was an earl of the house or whatever. I think that's what they said. They were definitely like of Dulac. And then we had a conversation about how they were worried that our ambitions wouldn't be seen and stuff like this. And we had this really cool interaction with like an old noble. And we were like, what the fuck? It was
That's cool.
crazy. And then we had a beautiful moment. We laid everyone to rest. There was probably a bit too much shouty call and response for a serene, like somber moment at a shrine for my tastes, and a bit of what felt like football chanting at times. And I was like, this is supposed to be
Bit
like
too
a somber
rowdy,
moment.
yeah.
Why is this
That
getting
sounds more
rowdy?
like a Jackdaw party vibe.
Yeah.
Sesh.
But it was still a good moment, and there was a lot of people, it was good fun. We, like I said, it was really, the photos that have come from it, amazing. Like, we were all there with torches, and it was such a cool, like, moment for PD to do of like, this is like something that's been on the wiki since day dot, right? Dawn wants the Barons, and to be there when it's happened and we've got it, and we're standing there like consecrating the shrine in their name was really cool.
This almost feels like the ring has been thrown into Mount Doom. This is the crowning moment.
Exactly. It was beautiful. Quite an emotional moment for a lot of people who met characters who had died, and they were like reunited, and there was some tearful reuniting, and it was really lovely. And yeah, it was really nice.
That might be a really good place to end the episode.
Yeah, I
It's
think
a
so
serene and lovely event.
Right. Thank you very much, everyone, for listening. We'll be back next week with part 4. There's so many of us now. It takes us so long to get through.
Yeah.
The last little dregs of Saturday and then Sunday.
And Sunday.
Yeah.
Sunday's a hell of a day.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much, everyone, for listening. As always, you can find us on social media at LARPs and Tarps, or on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Also, if you want to support us, you can find us on Patreon, and you can find our, if you would like £15 off your first Empire ticket, you can use our referral codes in the episode description, and that also gives us money off. Also, keep an eye on your social media feeds, because we have a new project coming out in the next week. We're going to be starting our Real Play D&D podcast.
Very
Hype
excited.
is real.
We're releasing some episodes. We've been working on this for a while, releasing some episodes next week. So keep an eye out, keep your ears out, and we'll have the feed up and ready to go by next week. And hopefully you will enjoy.
Always be LARPing, always be tarping.
Thanks very much, everyone. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.